public can watch us, and watch our mouths move, but they can't actually, I don't know if they can hear us or
Not until
not.
you
I don't
say
really
it.
know. Anyway, good evening, welcome to the Goffstown Sewer Commission. This is our regular scheduled monthly meeting, and we'll start with roll call with Corey.
Corey White, Sewer Superintendent.
Lynn Pooler, Sewer Secretary.
Don Ball, Commissioner.
Tim Redmond, Commissioner.
Daniel Taylor, Commissioner.
Mike Trank, Consulting Engineer.
Jim Craig, Select Board Representative.
Thank you to everyone for being here tonight. We will begin with public comment. If anyone is here to speak as in the public, now's the time to speak a piece.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Mark LeMay. I live at 38 Rochambeau Street in the Bernardville section of town, how they call it. I'm here just to shed light on the subject and the problems I've been having with the sewer line on Rochambeau Street and at my house. We've had the sewer company 4 times, and we had it scanned with the camera, and the pipe for 100 feet or less, it slopes down and it goes back up, and it's quite a large holding of water. I've had the septic back up in my house 3 times this time here, and I'm looking for help to see if the sewer line can be changed from, we'll say, Fairview Street down to Plummer, or a little past Plummer.
It's just past it. It's 150 feet of main.
The pipe,
That's in failure.
It's going the wrong direction.
Okay.
the water, it's funny, we watched it on the camera, and the water goes back in, and it backs up onto my feed. The slant or the pitch is almost non-existent, and I don't know what can be done about it. I know we had talked, Corey and I talked about putting a back flush valve, backflow valve in to stop it from coming back in the house. I shed this as a concerned citizen of Rochambeau Street. I know I'm asking for a lot, but if we can get that piece of pipe changed so it doesn't track into my system and up on the floor, and, that's about it. Corey was there, spent all day there,
Yeah, last Friday we spent all day there cameraing the mains.
and you can see it's very, obvious. It'll go like this, and then the camera just goes down, and no water here, and the camera is running in the water, in the sewer, the contaminated water. And I know Rochambeau Street's on the 10-year list to get done, but I would sure hate to wait 10 years for the water, not the water, the septic sewer line to be changed. And I'm just here to shed light on this subject, and if we can get it done this year, maybe we can, maybe we can't. I know we have a pretty tough schedule, and we're in a default budget. I don't know how you guys are sitting, but I just wanted to bring the issue forward to you. That's all, Tim.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have a report about this later in the meeting?
I was gonna bring it up, yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Just for your information, your issue of your home was a topic of a discussion at the last monthly meeting, and we talked about it at length at the last meeting, and we asked Corey to give us a report at this meeting. So the timing is coincidental or good, or whatever you want to call it. We are going to discuss it tonight,
Yep.
and hopefully we're going to discuss solutions.
Thank you, Tim.
I will also let you know that we have always worked in conjunction with the Goffstown Highway Department. For years, we would do our sewer work either the spring of or the year before that they were coming through, and we have been unable to hook up with Goffstown Highway on 3 streets in your neighborhood
Yep.
to,
Well aware of that, sir.
to do a joint venture down there. So I have not gone to the Board of Selectmen. I did not want to go over the Public Works Director's head. But I will call the Public Works Director and talk with him after this meeting is concluded tonight. And I will inform him of our dilemma, and I will see if he is willing to address it with the Board of Selectmen himself before I go over his head.
Thank you
I
very
don't want
much.
to do that,
Thank you.
okay?
Yep.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. We have minutes from April the 14th. Did everybody have a chance to look at them, or they were just on the table tonight?
I've looked at them.
Okay?
I did too.
Motion to approve the minutes of the April 14th meeting as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made to approve the minutes as presented. Is that correct, Daniel?
Yep.
And your second was as presented?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Was in favor, not opposed. And abstentions there are none. Okay, we have, our secretary has provided us with a sewer warrant to sign for the, is this for the bills to go out, Lynn?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's have a motion to sign the bill in that amount, and then we will be properly. Is there any questions before Daniel makes a motion? Do you have any questions on the sewer bills?
So, motion to approve the May 2026 Goffstown sewer warrant in the amount of $936,359.54.
That is for 6 months or 1 year, Lynn?
6 months.
Thank you.
For the next 6 months, or for 6 months.
So it's the first half.
Okay. Is there any, do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
It's been seconded. Do we have any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. We'll ask each one to sign it as we send it back to Lynn, and she'll have what she needs.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to old business. Corey, we have an item here called change remaining pump stations to mission, and Corey's name is after it, so Corey, could you please present?
Still working on getting numbers. It's gonna be within, to do the 3 remaining pump stations. We're trying to figure out if we can get, if it'll work with East Union. East Union is a little bit more complicated, so that one they want to take a closer look at as far as pricing, and will probably be in under the $30,000 range to do all of them. So,
I don't see that as problematic once you get the pricing.
yeah, and trying to find, we've always dealt with AD Instruments, and that's who our mission contract, if you will, is through.
We have a pre-existing contract already?
We pay for a service,
Okay.
which they manage the service because they're the ones that have put them in. So everything is through AD Instruments. Trying to find, there's not a whole lot of companies that actually install these things in New England. They're kind of rare. So I'm trying to find other companies, actually with their help, they're really good to us. So we can fulfill finance's wish of having 3 quotes,
Okay.
because it's gonna be over $5,000.
But once you put out an official RFP, if we only get 1 bid, that's what we need to get.
So we don't have to do an RFP if it's under 50,000.
Okay.
All we need is 3 prices.
Any questions from commissioners for Corey regarding this subject?
I'm all set.
Okay. Do you have anything else on this for now, Corey, or is that you set?
That's about it.
Okay, the next item is also you, it's Moose Club Park generator update.
So with that, with kind of Mike and I's thing, Mike reached out to an electrical engineer, and we're just waiting to hear back. I don't know if you heard from him today or not.
No. I asked him if, I explained the situation to him, excuse me, and asked if that was anything he'd be interested in, and he said that he would. So he
Good.
wanted me to get him some information. I reached out to Hoyle Tanner, and they were able to find the record drawings from that project in their archives, which was great. So they sent those to me, and I extracted the drawings related to the pump station and sent those to the electrical engineer last week, and he's going to get back to me with a proposal.
Do you need a contract to begin this procedure, or can you give us an hourly rate and you can just bill us an hourly rate, or whatever
Yeah,
you decide to do?
Yeah, I had this discussion with Corey.
Good.
My preference would be for this electrical engineer to have a contract directly with you folks.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to do any coordination effort as needed.
That's fine.
You know, and I can just bill for that time if it as needed. But my preference would be for him to have the contract directly with you folks. If he would rather have that with me, I'm okay with that too.
We're happy to pay directly.
Yeah.
You have a problem with that, Don?
Nope.
Daniel?
Would we need to solicit other?
I think this is probably going to come in for less than the threshold, I would imagine. What's our threshold for 3 bids?
50 or under
50?
1,000.
Well, I'm sure we're going to come in under 50,000 for these consulting services. If it was over that, I'd just be flat. But if you could just tell him about our bidding threshold at 50,000, and tell him if he wants to prepare a contract, and his contract obviously should be less than that, we'd be happy to.
I'm sure it will be.
And could you please tell him that even though our monthly meetings operate the way we do, and I'm sure you can vouch for us, that if he wants to begin work on it with Corey and we sign a contract next month, he's not going to get stiffed for his work. He will get paid, even if he worked prior to the signing of the contract.
Sure.
Thank you. All right. Elm Street Pump Station, Corey?
Yeah, at the last meeting, we talked about the issues that we're having over there, the cabinet issues. We're having RPF and Sons, which is our HVAC guy that the entire town uses, all the departments use him. He's coming up with kind of a plan to see if he can actually just install, basically he said, all you need is a computer fan in that thing. So he's looking at it to see if he can just install a computer fan in that control panel that we already
Who was
have.
looking at that for you?
RPF and Sons,
Okay.
um,
And once again, under the number,
all well under,
just take it
Yes.
out of, do it out of your budget.
yes, it's,
You've got budget lines, just code it to your budget and get it taken care of.
yes.
And we having trouble with that?
No, are we doing anything about the drainage in the building, or?
We would love to, that's very, very complicated. We have been looking at that, trying to, moving the water meter over isn't into the next room, so it's out of the electrical room, isn't it's not hard. They just need to drill a hole through the wall and just pipe it over. As far as trying to get a floor drain in there, that's a whole different ball of wax. I'm not even sure how to even begin that, because the main that runs into the wet well that's on the other side is directly beneath that. It
Well, we
runs right
can't-
under the room.
We can't run a floor drain anywhere other than to our collection system.
Correct.
Floor drains are illegal with the state. So we would have to run it into our own collection system.
Yes, and
Could we engage a contractor to chop a hole in the floor at a location of your choosing and install a sump pump?
Yeah.
yes, we could.
We could put a barrel in the
potentially-
floor
Potentially you can do that, but if you actually saw the size of the room, it's tiny.
Well, if you need if you need a drain in the building, and from what you've described, it sounds like it would be difficult to attach a drain to anything, then I think you should consult with
Yeah,
getting a barrel installed and putting a sump pump in.
Or
the other idea we had,
exterior pump in a manhole,
yeah,
that's concrete.
by moving,
But the water meter's moving out of there, so the likelihood of a leak.
Right.
in that room is going to be, that kind of
Reduced.
eliminates.
So
Or
removing the meter you think is gonna take care of it?
Yes, and by putting the meter in the side with the wet well,
It just runs into the wet well
it
if it
runs
leaks.
into the wet well.
Well, if you felt that a floor drain of any type is necessary for the function of the room and the safety of the electrical equipment, then I suggest that you find out who can cut the floor, and get a barrel put in and install a sump pump. Which you can pump somewhere, you can pump it right out the side of the building for that matter. Because it's only gonna be water from a
It's clean, it's
domestic
potable, yeah,
water line.
it's potable water, yeah.
A domestic water line. So if you want to just work on getting that, once again, you have money in your accounts for pump maintenance and facility maintenance and such, you can report back to us that you got it done and who did it and what the amount was. It's fine with me. Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, if you think we need it, I think you should do it.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, here we go to Rochambeau Street. I have a couple things I'd like to go over with Corey and Mark from the public comment. Corey, could you give us a rundown on Rochambeau Street from what you know and what's going on?
We've always known Rochambeau Street, that whole neighborhood is terrible, that's why we want to replace everything. Well, this all started 3 years ago, was the first time it backed up. And then 6 weeks ago, there was a pretty good gap between, then 6 weeks ago it actually backed up again. We were able to get Belmore out there twice, once that night to at least get it flowing. The next day, we jetted the entire main. That seemed, the last time we did that, it was good for 2 years. We didn't have any more issues, cleaned it twice a year like normal. We went out there a month ago and you could tell it was backed up, cleaned it, and within 3 weeks, it actually backed up again.
Is the pipe settling? Is that what you think is going on?
That's what I think is going on.
Is that
So,
clay tile?
It's clay, yeah, and
Okay.
they're only 3-foot pieces.
Right.
So
There's a lot of flex in them.
Belmore ended up cameraing his service line, and they ran water while the camera was at the main, and noticed when the water actually hit the main, it should take a left, it takes a right.
Okay, there's a problem, yeah.
So that's why I had Belmore come back out with the big camera that they use to camera the mains, and we cameraed the whole street.
So, below the LeMay service, does the water flow?
It does flow.
Even though it's slow,
It's slow, but it flows.
okay.
From
How far down is it to the next manhole?
the next manhole's a little over 200 feet, it's like 205, 210 feet.
On the downhill side?
On the uphill side. So his problem is from the existing sewer manhole to the dead end.
I understand that. Is his service at the existing manhole?
His service is 23 feet off of the existing manhole,
Upstream?
upstream.
Okay.
So when we cameraed it, there's actually, in some spots, it runs 3% the wrong direction.
All right, well, it's an old sewer line that we've been wanting to fix it's been on the plan forever.
And we noticed there's actually like 3 or 4 patches in that section already.
And then how about as you progress upstream to the next manhole, and then there is one more service on that, above it?
Yes, there's
How
one.
much pitch do you have on that run? Flat, or is it,
So you actually get into good pitch when you come to the next service. So it actually is running 2.5% the right way as soon as you come up to the next service.
so in your estimation, from what you've discovered, could we put a replacement PVC line in from manhole to manhole, if that's what we need to do.
We don't even need to go manhole to manhole.
Well, I'm just curious about fixing it halfway now, or fixing it all the way now as the first leg of that project when we come back to finish it.
So when they redesign Rochambeau Street, they have to redesign it so it has pitch. It has a minimal pitch all the way to Cross Street. There is room to adjust that entire run down to give it good pitch, because once it gets to Cross Street, the manhole, the last manhole on Rochambeau before it ties to Cross Street is about 6 feet deep. You open the next manhole that's 10 feet away, it's 13 feet to
What is
the
there?
invert.
Is there a drop
There's
setup?
a drop.
Okay.
So you really should redesign the entire run.
Obviously.
There's plenty of elevation to actually put pitch on that pipe.
So what's your recommendation in the short term, Corey?
Do a point repair that's roughly 150 feet from there's only one service past his. Go to that existing service where we know there's positive pitch and change it from just beyond that service to the existing sewer manhole. So it's laid back at proper pitch with PVC pipe,
Even if it's temporary?
even if it's temporary.
Is the service from the service connection into his home pitched, or is it flat also?
So
Is that a defining point in this repair?
it's going to be a defining point in this repair. So from what I was told, it's pretty flat.
Well,
So, but when we change the backflow preventer, I will have an idea of the elevation at the foundation. So we
Well-
can figure out,
and that's another point I wanted to go over with us. I did some research. If we install a backflow preventer at that residence, even if it's outside,
it's still not gonna cure the issue.
no, it could actually backfire on us. Because if the line is full of water and the backflow preventer won't open, then it's gonna explode in his house from his own use.
Yeah, exactly. The
So
same
we-
thing's
so-
gonna happen, it's just not gonna be anything from the street, it's all gonna be from the house.
So the idea of installing a backflow preventer, after I did some research, may not be what we should be doing at this time until we know we have positive pitch away from there. So that could become something that changes. It doesn't mean we don't want to go to his residence with a backhoe and dig up the service and find the service to get your elevation onto it.
So with Belmore's camera, we can locate, I had them locate where his service was, where it meets the main.
Yep.
And the next one up. There's almost a foot of difference in elevation from his service to the next one.
Okay.
So,
But we can't raise the pipe to get pitch if we're going to submerge the service at his residence.
no, but at least we know a rough elevation of where he is, where we're starting
Okay.
from.
How,
And we would need to dig at least off the edge of the asphalt, or preferably up by the house, and get a shot on the service to figure out if there's any room to
And
adjust
install a
it.
clean out at the same time.
Exactly.
How deep is the run at that neighborhood part of it, up at the far end right now?
Up at the far is
Where you need to dig to do this point repair?
5.5, 6,
That's a
probably
good-
6 feet to the bottom of the invert.
That's a good number.
how deep is the line that crosses over from Larch?
The line across, it's Fairview right there.
From the one that comes across from,
Oh, you're talking about the interceptor that comes through the pathway,
yep,
that comes cross lots.
Yep.
That's much deeper. That's probably
Can
at
you
least 10, 15
rewrite-
feet deep.
can you, cause it overlaps
It-
at the very end.
It does overlap at the very end.
Can you tap into that?
You could, yeah, you'd have to tap into the existing, there's an existing manhole where you see where it comes cross lots.
So
There's two
here's-
manholes.
Here's, the property in question here. We're looking at the pink lines. Rochambeau, most of it runs that
Yes.
way, and then been that way. But we've got the interceptor that comes across from Larch here, and
That
there's
is
this
the-
overlap right here, just, what is it, 30 feet or so?
Yes, it's pretty close.
Where they're running past each other.
Yeah, one goes under the other.
And then that goes out around and,
Is that the interceptor that comes from Goffstown's pump station, or is that?
No,
That's
so-
the new line that got put in?
Yeah, technically there would be two interceptors. There's the one that comes from the village that goes down Moose Club Park.
Right,
to the
that's down on the
trail.
rail trail.
Yeah, and then you have, after Shaw's Plaza, you
Is that the
have-
one that Grenice put in 8 years ago, or whatever that
Yeah, it
project
was
was?
Yeah, a while ago.
When they dug the whole the whole length of Bernardville?
No, it was actually done back in the late 80s, early 90s,
Okay.
along with the interceptor, to upsize that portion of Bernardville.
Well, are you suggesting that we pitch the line in two directions, Dan? From a given point?
yeah. So so my suggestion is like, wherever the high point is, because we have a low point somewhere
His service is definitely the low point.
here, a low point at his service. Pitch just from there, that way, into the interceptor, and then or from wherever the high point is on this, on the old portion of Rochambeau.
I don't disagree with your logic. I'm worried that we would have to get a design engineer to design all of that. We cannot just go out and dig a trench and tie into the interceptor.
No, you're gonna need elevations and everything
Yeah.
for that, and you can't just tie into the interceptor with a main. You have to, you're gonna set another manhole and then core the interceptor manhole to tie in that way with a drop.
Or we do a point repair and we look at the interceptor change when we look at the Rochambeau reconstruction. But if we have 6 feet of drop in a manhole down at the corner of Cross,
There's plenty of room.
there's plenty of room to lower the whole main all the way down through there and make it scream down through there.
Yep.
I think that's a better solution because of all the services involved and the whole deal. So that would be, I think, the next step, Dan, in my opinion. I don't discount it, but Mike, do you want to offer anything?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a reasonable approach.
But I think it requires a full engineering package to get involved with putting the line into
Yeah.
the interceptor. We still need an engineer to redesign the line pitch-wise from the high point at Rochambeau down to the intersection at Cross Street.
Yes.
But that's a different animal than cutting into the interceptor.
Absolutely.
I mean, when people have cut into the interceptor before, we've required they put doghouse manholes in. We've had a lot of different ways that they cut into the interceptors.
Yeah, and the state doesn't like it when you.
They don't
want
allow,
you to touch
they don't
it.
even allow doghouse manholes
Well,
anymore.
we put one in over on the rail trail, didn't we?
The state denied that.
For the housing project?
Yep.
What'd you end up doing?
They had to set another manhole next.
Adjacent to it?
Adjacent to an existing sewer manhole and core in and put a drop.
Oh,
And
okay.
redo the inverts.
Okay, good. So, I would like to entertain a motion from somebody at this table to permit Corey to classify this as an emergency repair and to go out and hire a contractor of the sewer department's choosing under an emergency directive and just get this thing done. We have a list of guys that we've worked with in town before that have done work for us, and they are all qualified contractors. So I would like this commission to consider authorizing Corey to select someone and do a design and fix it in place and just fix it and get it done. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add to that or disagree with my thought? It's gonna cost us what it's gonna cost us. It's not a bid item because they don't even know what they have to do to fix it.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a time and material project or something.
Because we're gonna have to dig along the way to get elevations to make everything work. There's no.
You pretty much have to expose the line from air to air and get rid of the dip and then shoot the grades and reinstall a piece of pipe with Ferncoast that's gonna just flow, pick up his service on the way by, and eliminate the problem.
Correct.
And it won't push it down the street any, because he's gonna repair the whole line
He's gonna repair the 150 feet
It's not
of
gonna affect anybody
whatever.
else.
and not do the backflow preventer.
At this time, I would hold off on the backflow preventer at this time. I know the resident has a laundry room in the basement and other items, and I don't wanna ignore this. We didn't wanna ignore it at the last meeting. I would like to treat this as an emergency repair and just authorize Corey to get somebody in we trust and get it done and be done with it.
It becomes a public health and safety issue too.
It also becomes an impending insurance liability, which we saw how our town's insurance dealt with another problem, which I think was unfair, but because we maintain our lines and do our due diligence, we were held harmless, according to the insurance company. So I'm gonna ask for, unless it's appropriate for the chair to make a motion.
You
You can make a motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we classify this repair on Moshambo Street as an emergency repair situation and authorize the sewer superintendent to contract with whoever he can get out there, as soon as he can get out there to do this project, without a bid. We need to just work with the sewer superintendent and the people we trust to get this fixed. And Corey will look out for us, he will not let us get gouged. And if good contractor's not gonna gouge us anyway. Our contractors are good people. So, that's my motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Let's see, TR, Taylor. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Corey, you're authorized to get it done.
Before you leave, you had an issue with the plumbing bill, right?
Sorry?
The bill?
Oh, I haven't got the bill yet.
Okay.
We
What's
don't-
going on?
So, when we went out a couple, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, we opened the manholes in the street, and by any person looking down in there, there was nothing sitting, the main was actually flowing, like barely.
With water pressure pushing it.
Apparently, yes. So we opened up that manhole, the manhole in the back, and generally, if you have a plug in the middle, it's gonna build up in a manhole
Backup.
and back up. There didn't look like there was any sort of backup,
Yeah, it looked clean.
but it was backed up right at his pipe.
Yes,
So-
we've been told that.
He had a plumber come out and snake the line and all that before, thinking it was his service, because there was actually a little bit of sand coming up out of that floor drain. So we were thinking that there might be an issue with his service at that point. So we had a plumber come out to snake the line. And the entire time, it was not his service at all, because Belmore actually cambered it that same afternoon to figure out it wasn't his issue, it was actually our issue.
All right, so what are you saying? You want to submit a bill for the plumbing service?
For the first plumber,
Submit the bill and we'll discuss it at the next meeting, but I'm sure that we'll be in
Thank
agreeable.
you very much, sir.
Now, before you go, Corey, can we get a balloon for his floor drain, an inflated balloon in that floor drain and plug it?
can you pull that cap off?
Yeah, you can pull the cap off, oh, yeah.
It-
Plug,
it-
expandable plugs,
Yeah, I might have a couple expandable clubs.
I would like to
plugs.
have an expandable plug put into that floor drain as soon as you two can get together and put one in.
that's
You're
all.
around, I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Because that is the lowest point, other than the toilet, bathtub, and laundry discharge? Is that what you have in your basement?
I have the laundry, I have a sink, and then I have a toilet with a shower at the other end of the basement, finished basement.
Are they stuff that you use on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna ask to plug the shower drain too. Because those are the two spots where it would most likely affect you. And if you,
Mr. Chairman, if I catch it, it's gonna be the floor drain right by the washing machine and dryer. Then-
But once we plug the floor drain, you won't know that it's backing up until it comes up in something else.
Correct.
So,
I'll take that chance.
Okay.
Rather than all over the floor. I haven't had a company come in yet to clean the floor because I'm not sure if it's gonna happen again, and I wanted to kind of wait before I said.
all right, so let's put this into light speed.
And in the meantime, I have Belmore coming like every 3 weeks to clean that, so.
That's fine, keep it clean.
Thank you, sir.
And-
Thanks, everybody.
Corey will contact a contractor and we will get the ball rolling.
Thank you.
Okay, sir?
Have a good day. See you, Jim.
All right. Cross Street Survey work, Mike.
Yes, I reached out to my contact at Sanford. They weren't aware of what sort of time frame we're under, and that's my fault, I didn't give them one. But I said, you know, we want to get the survey work done this year, so.
This week.
You know, as soon as possible, so that we have that information available and we can start doing design work if needed, or as needed. So he said he would have a proposal to me this week.
This is taking on one more new layer of requirement, is that now Public Works is saying they may go to Crossroad next summer.
Correct.
So we need a design so that we can put this out to bid in the fall or sooner. So I know you've got other customers, but please get your surveyor out there as quick as we can get it done and start working on the design work in case DPW comes back and says, look, we're going to Cross Street in the spring, you gotta get your sewer done.
Yeah, he said he could get a proposal to me this week, so I'm expecting that.
I hope Earl, we're counting on it.
I will.
All right. Anybody have any questions regarding the Cross Street survey work that we're trying to get done? At Sanford?
Yes.
Sanford survey? Okay. I see drain layer applications, I see AP warrants, and I see other businesses warranted. Anybody have other businesses warranted? Okay, we have a non-public session we're going to go into tonight. Lynn, who needs to attend the non-public besides the commissioners?
Corey doesn't really need to, and Mike doesn't have to. Jim, if you want to, you're welcome to stay. It's what your non-public was last night.
Well, that'd be
Oh,
good.
that's right.
So Jim could be essential for explanation.
Maybe, it's not that.
Okay, well, it's
Jim
good.
wants to stay, he can
Well,
stay.
I want to tell you something anyways.
Okay.
All right, so in the past, we have stated when we enter non-public that the meeting will be adjourned at the end of non-public, so the TV can be turned off. So we will do that again tonight. We'll make a motion to go into non-public prior to adjourning the meeting, and then we'll go from there. Anybody have any legal restrict problems with that? I think we've covered ourselves in the past on that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Otherwise, they have to sit around on the TV and wait for us to come out of
Yeah,
non-public.
no, I think
We're not
everyone
going
does it
to
that way.
have any more business after that.
Right. Select board does it that way too.
Set it off.
Yeah.
So is anything else before we go into non-public from Mike, Corey? I thank you both for coming tonight and getting your work done, and I look forward to talking with you on the phone about how things are going in the next couple days. And I will call Adam from Public Works regarding this Rochambeau business and see what kind of wiggle room we have in the upcoming years or whatever his plans are. And I'll report back to the commissioners. Thank you all. So there's a motion on the table here. We are going to enter non-public session, so I want to make a motion to enter non-public under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2D, legal.
Do we need to state why we're entering?
Nope.
No, we don't want to.
We will need a roll call vote to go into public, non-public, and as I was speaking to the room here, we will conclude our meeting at the end of non-public, so we will be asking to go off the air before we go into non-public. So,
I will,
roll call vote for entering non-public. Commissioner,
We need a
Taylor.
second first.
I'll second your
oh, second
initial
motion?
motion.
Okay.
And, roll call vote, aye.
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 Motion is made and passed to enter non-public. At this time, GTV, we are going to stand adjourned for the evening. Thank you.